Hello, this is Terry with CU Bands and Fans podcast, where musicians tell their story. Our guest, well, I say I mean, Zach couldn't be here, my co-host could not be here tonight, and we are recording this at Daly's sports bar in Philo, Illinois, so that's a little different than what we're used to. But my guest is Levi Blake Omundson. Did I say that right?
Yeah, Omundson.
I've known Levi for quite some time, but I want to put a shout out to our sponsors first, and that's Homegrown KIO 105.5 FM. Homegrown KIO has a show every Sunday night with the history of our live local music community from the 70s all the way up to our current live local music community. And that show is 7 o'clock on Sundays to 8 p.m. Our other sponsor is Corson Music. Corson Music is an actual brick and mortar building that you can go to. And Dyke Corson is a musician and he's the owner, so he'll take good care of you. So Corson Music, Homegrown KIO. Levi, how are you?
It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you too. I've known Levi for quite some time. I met you through us doing Original Artist Night back in like 2012 or 13.
Yeah.
It was some of the beginning years of us doing that. And you reached out to me and asked, could you be in the Original Artist Night? And I was like, well, yeah. And you drove from Indiana to the Rose Bowl in Urbana, and you got up and performed, and it was a very intense, unique sound that you have in your vocals and your lyrics. So that's where I met you, and I just thought, this guy has some grit, and I knew that, and especially kind of in your vocals. You could also tell that there was a lot going on in your soul, and you were trying to bring that out in music. I think there was some sorrow in there. So you take it from there. Then I've just watched you grow throughout these years to this remarkable musician that you are today.
So how I got in contact with you is Brian Cooper, which is from your guys' area. He gave me my first paid show doing originals, which in Indiana that wasn't available, nor in Michigan or Ohio and stuff like that at the time, like it was like in the 90s and stuff. It was a pretty dry area, so Illinois was like the next thing. But y'all were doing the open mic stuff.
Original Artist.
Yeah, there is, and that didn't shift over. Indiana, you guys were the first one to have that. So then, being able to go sing stuff that I wrote, I was pretty excited because it wasn't available anywhere else. So you guys were like the first blueprint.
Yeah, we were trying to build a platform for that because, of course, we document the live local music scene.
Yeah.
So meeting these musicians who also had their own music really intrigued me. So I thought, why not do one where we can hear what they've written? You know, and then so you've done a few of your songs, and you know, what songs did you do back then?
There's Cut Me. There was, man, it's not that well. I'm trying to remember what was all on that album, because because of you, it got radio airplay in the city.
Did not know that.
Yeah, because the college radio station.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's where he heard me the first time to be able to do that.
You had quite a few though.
Yeah, I had a 14 song solid 14 song EP.
Yeah. So from that time, then, you would show up in different shows and things like that. We always stayed kind of connected, like always. In 2022, I think it was, I seen you at Red Hot Winter. And I photographed Red Hot Winter, and so, you know, I'm just part of that whole Red Hot vibe family. And I seen you in the Mez, up in the Mez, and I was like, Levi. And so, like, we hugged each other, and then I was like, what are you doing here? And you're like, I'm singing.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, yeah, you know. So you came out on that stage and did Journey.
Yeah.
With so much power. And so much enthusiasm and energy. It was insane. How did that happen?
The progression of being able to, because when we first met, I played acoustic too loud. I didn't know how to control my voice. I didn't know how to, how to do my scaling work and everything in my case breathing or anything like that. It was a mess, and I asked like David and Corey and Gary Jones, and then like I got to do a show with Terry Luttrell, and just being willing to listen to my peers that had been doing it for a while. I got obsessive, so it's like I did this one video, and it was really bad. And then I had a lot. Well, it was like you could all the commenting stuff. It was it's like with Facebook and everything. You're able to so you read all those. So then I really hammered down, and I worked really hard on things that people said I need to work on and what they didn't like, and I applied that obsessively. Because I wear my heart on my sleeve. So, and I worked on that for a while, and because I stopped playing out so much, and then it was like a hiatus. It was quiet, and I just focused on writing, and I worked on my vocals, and worked on being able to balance the both, just vocal singing and playing. But yeah. I don't really know exactly what I did to be able to, because they progressed really fast, and that's one thing. But one thing I was really good at was imitating, and I was better at imitating pre-existing songs from other artists than I was with my own music. Being able to find my own sound, to be able to control my own sound. So like when it came to doing like Steve Perry. I was able to study his vocal accent and the way that he compresses when he releases, and then his delivery when he sings.
So you are better at imitating voices such as, or vocals such as.
It was, and that's one thing I was never really able to apply that as well into like doing original music, because it's easier to go in with a pre-existing idea. When you already have something to hear to work toward, to imitate sound. Like that's when you write, you're walking in the dark, so you don't know where the product's going to go. So it was a lot easier to imitate, and I was really good at singing covers and other songs like that. And I'd been singing Journey for a long, long time, so it really worked out.
So then, how did you get invited to do Red Hot?
I get a message and then a phone call from a cat that lived in Tennessee. His name's Jordan Cundiff.
Jordan Cundiff.
Yeah, and I had recorded some acoustic stuff with him, and he said, "Hey man, I know you're looking for some type of break to do production shows and stuff like that, or even to do shows on a nice stage." He's like, "I got this gig for you. Can you send me a video of you singing your best Journey song?" And I was like, "Why not Skid Row?" I like Skid Row. And I always go back to the Skid Row thing, because that's like, I sing Skid Row so well. I was like, I love Journey, but fucking Journey, come on, man. But so then I went to, I was living in Terre Haute, Indiana with a buddy of mine that moved to Indiana from Florida. And I said, "Hey man, there's this gig to like sing some covers at this like show thing. I don't really know what it is or whatever, but can you like record me singing at karaoke?" So I went to karaoke, and then I sang. I sang at Tully's Bar and Grill in Terre Haute, and then sent it over. He's like, "Perfect." And then he sends it over to the guys at Red Hot Winter, and then that's when I got picked up for it.
Yeah, so like he comes out singing Faithfully, was it?
No, the first one was Separate Ways.
Yeah, Separate Ways, yes. And I mean, guys, and then you were back in 23.
Yeah.
And then you were back last year,
yeah.
right? And so like you're part of the Red Hot family now. You're part of that music community at Red Hot, which is full of just amazing, tremendous.
It was like, when my first thing, because I was on the phone with Jordan, and I said, "Man," I get in there, I said, "Man, this guy's yelling at everybody."
Rod Sickler, I love you.
He's yelling at everybody. He says, he's like, "Levi, this is how a professional production has worked." He's critiquing There's a lot of money that goes into this. This is not your average show.
Right.
This is a big opportunity for you. So if he gets on your ass, it means he knows you can do better. And then all of a sudden I hear, where's this Levi Omundson? His song's coming up, bring him up here. So now I'm like super nervous. You know, I'm like, oh, shit. So I was like, oh, I'm going to do the drunken rocker stance onto the stage. So I'm walking on the stage like I'm kind of tipsy. And then the music starts and he just cocks his head and then I start singing. And I put my hand up and I started, you know, I did that. I started singing. And he says, stop. Can we get this guy a full song?
Yes.
This is the headliner. You're amazing. You know, and that's where that.
I remember that because I was at that rehearsal.
Yeah.
And at that show, and yeah, you blew us all away when you came out and just kicked it with that song. And so let's put a little plug in for Rod here. Yeah. Rod Sickler, he does productions. He produced a appreciation event for me last year, and it was super amazing, like overwhelmingly amazing. But he does produce at Red Hot Winter, and he is intensely critical, and an amazing producer, but he is like, he gets that thing dialed in to the time because there's so much money involved, and he raises a lot of money, and it's not no, you know, rinky-dink show. It's a huge production, entertainment quality, high quality. So
and that's one is
we
what, you know,
Rod so much.
At first I was like, oh man, this guy's gonna eat me alive, but he wants the best of the best out of everybody. And, you know, one year I was having a financially hard time. And I said, hey man, I need an advance. I need an advance, I'm struggling, you know. And I was between touring and I believe we were playing with Buck Cherry at the time. You know, and he's like, I got you. You know, and he helped me out. And then I had some family members that just couldn't afford to get through the door. And then I asked him, I said, it's a treat for them to not be able to do that. I said, is it possible? He said, I got you a table. You know, bring him in, you know, and that's one thing about him is, like, you know, he's a good heart. He's a Christian-driven man.
Yeah, he's a good man. He's somebody you should know. Everyone, that's for darn sure. Amazing person who's given a lot of people a platform too. So you've also been on CI Living TV. What were you on there for? I can't remember.
The first time, it was for I did my first music video under a record label, and you know, Street Productions record label, and this was pre-COVID, I believe. And then I went on there and I did Northern Lights. Northern Lights. And then we did a music video for that, and did a release. And then I wrote you for contact information, and you sent me a lot of emails, and we hadn't talked for a while.
Yeah.
And you had me, which you've been a huge part of my journey progressing, you know, and that's. But then I got those emails, and then I knew a few cats that had been on there, and I was like, you know, and then Scotty G contact, because his group played Tongue and Groove. They did an appearance.
I've got a Tongue and Groove T-shirt.
Yeah, and then he did an appearance on there. He says, man, you know, so he got me on there, and then me, Gage Murphy, and Mason Ford went on, and then I did the song, and then 2 other songs, and a song I did with Mason Ford. And I opened that segment, and I messed up on the first song. It was the first time getting wet.
Did anybody notice it but you?
I think a few people noticed. I had a few messages, like not so nice messages from some people. But and then but it was my first time getting my feet wet doing that. And I remember when I was talking to Scotty G, he said, just fake it till you make it. He says, act like you've done it 100 times. And I was like, how does that work? You know? You know, but went on there, and then first song was rocky, second one was pretty solid, third one was like was there, and then they cut half the song off, so we didn't get to finish it. But it finished strong, and that's the whole thing that I'm really proud about that, is that we finished strong. And I was like, okay, I think I can do this again. And then I got booked to do another segment, and then and that was when I got in a group that I toured with, Burdens Within.
Okay, so before we get into Burdens Within, because there's quite a bit to cover there. So the music video that you did, was it Northern Lights?
Yeah, Northern Lights.
Was that the okay?
Yeah, Northern Lights.
Who did that music video for you?
Scotty G. Scotty G did the music video. It was a sci-fi music video. This is a really, really good song. There was a lot of people that wasn't ready for an Alien music video at the time.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, it was.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, and we did it. It was a long process. We put a lot into it. A lot of green screen. It was a solid product. And the song was really popular. Did good. And then we went into film fests for it. And then we got awarded from Los Angeles, recognized it. I was a semifinalist.
Wow.
And then there was another one that we got. I think it was in finalist. But so we got two recognized from was Atlanta, and then the other one was from Los Angeles. And then I was like, at the time, I was like, I think this is possible. And then you learn an algorithm of, how being able. I was like, if I get enough of these, getting noticed by these certain, like even if it's like music awards or film fest and everything.
Or
like
the ISSA.
Or ISSA, which now work with the Grammy Music Awards. It's one of those things. Is like there was big gaps of empty, and then all of a sudden, I got one.
ISSA.
So when you could make group pages, there was this, music groups people had, like when you started doing C bands and fans, like when all that, you could make those. This one, I saw this one, it came out as an advertisement. There was a few hundred people on there, and I joined it, and when you join it, you get a certificate thing that comes to the mail. It was a free thing. And what's so great about when you start something, you don't know the attraction it's going to get, and I was for almost 9 years was part of this, and then I didn't keep track of it. And then I get a message from somebody that I got my first TV appearance, and then a acoustic country artist from Montgomery County, Indiana, moves to Tennessee, and then she joins, and then they have a huge music awards. It turned into something huge. So, and then there's 100,000 people that are involved in it, and it went international. Africa, Australia, 50 different countries, and it became huge. And then I get a message, hey, you got to join this. And I'm like, I'm actually a part of that. I was part of that when it started. Why so? It's like, have you not looked at it lately? And that's the ISSA, which is, it's songwriters, people that write the songs, and then you.
Is it International Singer-Songwriter Association?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they started doing the music awards, which was in Atlanta, at the BMI Music Award Event Center. And it grew huge. And then, so I made my submission, and I was like, well, I don't know. And I told her, she's like, I won. You need to get into this. You need to, you got to put your music into it and stuff. So then I did. And there's certain things you have to do. You have to have so many songs on streaming. You have to have so many songs playing, like appearances on TV and stuff like that, to be eligible. So then, and I cleared all those, So then I put in my submission, And then I got nominated for 10 nominations. 10. And then I flew there. And not knowing, I was like, I'm gonna go. And then I got there and then I won my first music award.
Oh my God.
My first year. And then, but the thing is when you win gold, then you become on the panel. For the gold members became on the panel that goes through everyone's submissions to see who gets an award. And then because there's so when you win gold, there's a penalty, 2-year penalty. You can't submit to win another award. You go into the panel, and then you're a part of the organization. And then I did that for 2 years. And then and Tammy Dove runs that. She runs all that. It's huge now. They just did a contract with the Grammys, and then I got asked. They wanted to put in a reference, my name, to get me in the Grammy Academy to be a board voter for the Grammys. But at this, and I said, I'm very flattered, but I want some time, because at this time I'd been on the road for 5-6 years, actually longer than that, but professionally doing shows with a group that I had been in for half a decade. We were doing a lot of big shows with a lot of big bands, and I wanted to be home. I wanted to mow my yard, you know what I mean? Because I've been trucking for, right after high school. Been traveling state to state doing it. So I was ready for a break, but she said, if you ever are open to it, just give me a call. So then I turned it down. But it's still on the table.
So the door's open.
The door is still open.
So this band that you travel, so Burdens Within.
Yeah.
How long were you with them? Are you still with them?
No.
Okay. How long were you with them, and how did that begin? And after we get into how this began, then let's talk about who you guys opened for and all of that. So go.
Okay, so there was so I did was signed with a label, did the acoustic stuff, did Northern Lights, the music video, and then COVID happened, and a lot of labels went quiet. That weren't, all the top shelf corporations could afford to keep going and stuff. So then so the label that I was with, I was grateful for, because I believe it was a 20% sign. I was offered a different label that was 50%. And then I went on with Neon Street Productions, Records.
Which is Scotty G.
Which is Scotty G.
Okay.
It was just Scotty G. And then everything went quiet. COVID was happening. And then 2 years before I signed a label, I was a bouncer at a pub in Crawfordsville, Indiana, and then I was asked to be the bouncer, because this bouncer came up to me. He said, "Hey man, you look kind of rough. I'm going to Chicago. Me and my band's writing an album. I'll be back. Can you cover me for a month?"
You look like you could be a bouncer.
And then
you look like you could be a bouncer.
Then I was a bouncer for a year, and never heard from the guy ever since. He never came back. So it must have went good, right? And then I did the label and everything and stuff. I moved from Crawfordsville, moved to Terre Haute, Indiana, and then I moved back home. And then I get a message, not doing music, I'm pretty much done, And he says, "Hey, this is Ryan Klein. Remember me?" "No." And he sends me a picture. You're the bouncer who never came back, and I had to stay and get my ass whooped for $20 a night, He says, "Well, I went to Chicago. I signed with Pavement Records. We went on tour and everything. They played with Powerman 5000, KKBOX. They played with Godsmack, a lot of big bands and stuff. Their singer he said, our singer left, and we have a show that's coming up." I said, "Man, I'm just not doing pubs or anything like that," because I thought it was like a pub show or something like that. And he said, "No, man, can you learn 5 songs in 5 days, 5 or 6 days?" And I was like, "I don't know, man." He said, we're playing with Saving Abel in Indianapolis." I said, "It's COVID. You're playing shows during COVID?" He's like, yeah. There's a restriction. There's going to be like 25, 30 people away from each other. So then I call a buddy that had worked in the industry, Scott Dowers. He worked with Buck Cherry. He's worked with GNR, DJ Ashby. So I call him. I was like, "What do you think? Get your feet wet. If you suck, no one's going to be there to see you." You know. So then I'm like, "Okay, we'll go do it." And then it went decent.
That's like the best advice ever.
Yeah. Yeah. It went decent, and then they're like, "You want to do an album with us?" I was like, "If we can do this at least once a year, I'm totally in." You know. So then, and then that's where it progressed to where, you know, I thought, most people get to play with a big act, which the reason why they wrote me, I got to play with Terry Luttrell from REO Speedwagon a few years prior. So then I had a national opening under my belt. So then that's why they were interested. But the guitarist was like, "I'm pretty sure he does country music. I don't know if this kid can sing rock and roll," you know. And then that's how that went. And then it just worked out. So then they send me like 30 songs that they had pre-recorded without vocals. I said, "Here's the deal.
Oh, boy.
I'll pick 5 of the best, and we'll go from there." So then we did a 5-song EP, Odinism album. And then we did a music video. And Jordan Cundiff flew up from Tennessee. Just like it's a big circle. Brian Cooper, you, Jordan, Rod, Scott Dowers, same area. And then we do a music video. I do that Running Out of Time song. And then for some reason it made a lot of noise. And then a few thousand, 10,000, 20,000, 40,000. And kept on getting a lot of views and stuff. And then we got messages from promoters from different theaters, and then music centers and stuff. And then that's where it progressed to playing with like bands. Lots of people play their whole life, they get one national act, let alone being able to play 6 of them a year.
So name some of those that you open for.
Jakyl, Buck Cherry, Puddle of Mud, Hinder, Red Jumpsuit Apparatus.
Saliva?
Saliva, yeah, Saliva. There's a lot.
What was your favorite?
My favorite one?
That you remember. I mean, that you remember, like, this is really
my foster brother that died, he was the biggest Saliva fan. And then we got booked at the Hobart Music Theater in, I believe it was Ohio. Yeah. And not Hobart, it was, so we went to Ohio and it was a certain venue. I can't remember the venue's name. But then they're like, "Hey man, you get to play it. We can play with Josie Scott." I'm like, "Dude, that was Daniel's favorite artist. That would be so cool." My grandpa dies. And then it was the next day. And then I was like, "I'm gonna stay."
No way.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay home. And then my mom was like, "Your grandpa traveled and videoed Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath back in the day. He traveled in the van with a bunch of strangers. That's what he did. You're gonna go do this show, and you're gonna miss the the ashing, and you're gonna go do this because that's what he would do." So then I went, and then that's what sprouted the relationship that I made with Josie Scott of Saliva. And we got really close, and we started doing a lot of shows together. And but the playing with Josie Scott, that was the big one, because me and him were pen paling. We pen paled for about 1.5 years. And then after that, it was like there was no limitations for anything. But another thing is what I learned is that I'm a chatty Cathy. So like when we do go play a show, like load-ins like at 3 or 4, and then you're there for 6 hours before the show even starts. So you're sitting around, and then I just became friends with production crew. And I was easy to talk to. We was always on time, easy to work with. And I always write them, "How you doing? How's life? How's your kids?" And then that's when it was like, "Hey man, so-and-so's playing at our theater, man. The guys want to work with you again." The stage crew and everything. Because we were so good to the production and the sound engineers. We were easy to work with. And that's, no one wants to work with an asshole because it's a liability.
See, I was just going to say, you're not an asshole.
No.
Like, and you're genuinely a sweet person who is, you're a loyal person. also. Like, and if you've got a friend, you've got a friend. Like, it doesn't matter how long it's been since you've seen them. When you see them, they're still your friend. Like, you're a really great connecting person, and you're very sweet, and you're extremely creative. But you've got this soul. You got kind of like a deep soul, I think, and you genuinely want people to be happy and enjoy, life and the show and music and all those things. You're not a competitor, so to speak. You're not like, I'm not out here to cut anybody's throat, I'm just everybody.
That's what we call as the crab effect. Is a lot of things what they call it in the industry is that you get a bucket and a bunch of crabs. There's enough crabs to climb over each other that curl out. But when a crab elevates higher, the other one clamps on it, and all the crabs dry out. And there's a lot of bands that will get in that circle of everyone's like, LA's gonna call, or you get the calls. You're in that group of people that aren't like that, and then you network and like say if a buddy of mine, they haven't had a show in a while, I'd call back when it was Timothy. Timothy used to book a slot. I said, hey Tim, I need a slot opening. You guys want to play? I said, no, it's for a friend. They haven't had a show in a while. They can't get one. Can you get them on? Don't tell them. Reach out to them. Don't tell them that I wrote. Reach out to them, offer them the show. And I did that for a lot of years, even when I was in there. And then when we would take a break on stuff, I would still call for other people. Because I'd never been about, everyone wants to get in the front of the line. And then I've had conflicts before. It's like when we were really hot up by Fort Wayne, we get called for all the shows. And then you get other people you've worked with. It's like, damn it, man, it's hard to get in front of you guys. So then I was really big about, I know another theater that's booking this band, whatever big band it is. Write this promoter, tell them I sent you. And then they'd get on that show if they couldn't get on the one with us that we were on. They'd be able to play with that big band at that other theater. And I did that for a lot of people,
Yeah.
So I was always about that.
Well, and also you're a survivor. So that's what I have witnessed about you, and without getting, because I'm going to get emotional for a minute, so I'm trying not to get emotional, but I know that you're a survivor. I know that you've had intense, serious struggles, and people, you don't make that aware. You don't make that everybody's business. But I know that you've had some intense personal struggles. You've had to overcome some things.
Yeah.
And you are just a survivor. And that's what I think I love about you the most, is that you just didn't sit in that. You could have very easily. I mean, you've struggled. You've had some serious struggles. So it's so awesome to see you just rise up out of that and say, you know what, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to do. And you've seized the moment, and you've taken the opportunities given to you, and you recognize that, and that's so important and so huge. And you're a humble person. So I just, I think everybody should know you. That's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on the podcast, is that I think people can resonate with that, especially nowadays. I think people get into a dark place and they don't know how to climb out of that, although they've got this talent to give. Yeah. And that's how I see you.
The biggest thing, and that's one thing, is like, I have lots of friends that are emotionally struggling artists that go to substance, or like I buried 2 significant others, 2 brothers and a nephew along this journey. And one thing I always said, now someone told me is like, anyone can teach them how to laugh, but it takes someone special to teach them how to cry. And that's something I really took to where writing, and I always say, just write about it.
So when you write a song, you're writing it out of some kind of pain?
Yeah.
And do you get the music first or the lyrics first?
I sing it first. I sing the melody, and then I play to the melody.
Yeah. Huh, interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's really what I meant about your struggles is the losses that you've endured, because there's hard griefs. You know, grief is, whew, it's hard.
Yeah.
And music is helpful, obviously, and so you're doing what you do is helping other people too, whether you know it or not. You probably don't even know who you've touched with music, or just being I think just a positive influence in a really, really tough time. Because you could have easily slipped right into just deeper darkness.
Yeah.
But you know, that's what I know about you, is all I'm saying. As I'm so proud of you too. I'm just like so proud of you and so excited for what you're doing in your life now, and the people that you've connected with. You've made sure you've connected with some people that are of quality, some people that have given you some, I mean, strong.
The biggest thing is show me your
musicians.
5 true friends. Show me your 5 true friends, and I'll show you your future. I had a cat tell me that one time, man, and I was like, it's so simple, it's annoying, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
And finding peace in quiet at times in your life is necessary.
Yeah, and that's why, you know, when you said you took, you know, you're like, no, I just want to go mow my grass and stuff. Yeah. I think that that's like so pertinent. I just need time to do normal things, not travel. And you know, that's why Steve Perry left Journey. It was just like, this is too much. I don't even know where I was anymore. You know, he had disconnected so much to just normal everyday life. So I think that's cool that you did that and just kind of did a reset.
Yeah.
And a lot of people probably should do that, but don't, and then they burn. You know, they burn right out. So I think we'll close on that. I want to also say that this is being produced tonight by Scotty G Productions. And so we're like really using his expertise and professionalism here. So I think after Levi does this song, we'll close it out. But thank you, Scotty, and thank you, Daly's, and thank you, Levi. And I also want to say that catch Levi on YouTube. You can catch him on Facebook. And I think Scotty may post some of the links with this video. So you'll be able to connect with Levi. Thank you.
I know you don't feel afraid. Take my hand, it's gonna be okay. Know you're feeling weak and cold. Sometimes we gotta let things go. Should've run, should've stayed. Told me everything's gonna be okay. Are you listening? Are you listening? If I run away, would you go with me? Would we be safe? High up in the sky, in someplace we can hide, or are we running out of time? Running out of time. Know you don't feel afraid, but take my hand, it's gonna be okay. Know you're feeling weak and cold, but sometimes we gotta let things go. Should've run, should've stayed. Tell me everything's gonna be okay. Are you listening? Are you listening? If I